is music.
For some reason, like during the holidays, I always like end up getting just a little sad, and I never know why. Like I will start getting sad around mid-December, and then it won't stop until maybe like around March, April of the following year. I never know why. I feel like it's always just been this way. Dare I even say that it might be depression around this time, like holiday or seasonal depression? I'm not really sure. I know seasonal depression has like a different definition where it refers to, just the lack of sun during, the winter seasons, that causes a lot of people to become depressed. And I did go through that while I was a student at Grove City College in Pennsylvania. Being a Floridian and moving to a much colder state, the winter months, if any of you are from the north, then you know the winter months you don't really get much sunshine or things like that. So I did experience seasonal depression while I was in Pennsylvania as a Floridian, and someone who's from the Caribbean. But I'm not really sure how to define this, I guess I should say. It's just something that I have always experienced for the past couple of years, and I am currently trying to find the root of it, but I can't seem to get anywhere. Yeah, for as long as I can think, I'm afraid to call it depression, but I feel like that would be the most appropriate term for it. It is a form of depression, I would definitely say, because from my past experiences with it, it never really felt appropriate to just call it sadness. It was definitely something deeper than sadness. I guess it would be most appropriate to label it as depression. But yeah, for the longest, this form of depression has came on around this time of the year, and like I said, it doesn't end until March or April of the following year. I just don't know why it always comes. I became aware of it last December, when it started back up again, because I would be fine all throughout the summertime and early fall, and then late November, early December is when it would kick in. And so I became aware of it last year in December. And now that I am aware of it, I am trying my hardest this year to not let it happen again. And if it does happen, I want to make sure that I do give myself grace, and just be aware of the necessary things that I need to do to ensure that it comes and it leaves as fast as possible. I would be lying if I said that I don't feel it kicking in, because I definitely do, but I'm trying my hardest to suppress it and just make sure that it just doesn't come. I don't know how beneficial that is currently, but that is what I am trying to do currently. But if it does come, if I am no longer able to suppress it, I know to just give myself the space that I need to just feel the emotions, as well as make sure that I don't dwell in those feelings too much, because I know with like my past experiences, I have just really sat in the depression and I allowed it to just consume me, and just take over my whole life, and I began identifying with it. So I definitely want to just make sure that I am not identifying with it, and that I just make sure to feel the emotions, because that is important. It helps to validate whatever feelings I'm feeling. So feel them, work through them, and then move past them. This whole thing with identifying with depression is something that I learned off a podcast that I used to watch. It has helped me tremendously in like my emotional and mental health journey. And I remember this one episode. The podcast is the Know For Sure Pod. And I remember specifically it was episode 5, where Megan is one of the ladies on the podcast. She has a history of struggling with her mental health as well. And she said this thing that really just stuck with me, and it's still stuck with me a year later. But just the whole thing about identifying with your depression or whatever mental health issue that you're dealing with, identifying with it keeps you in there longer. So for me, in my case, I was telling myself that I am depression, I am sad, I am etc. And by doing that, I was basically minimizing who I truly was. So I took out my journal and I wrote down all the things that I was doing, all the things that I felt, and all the things that I am. So instead of saying I am depressed, I would say I feel depressed, I feel sad, I feel emotionally drained. And just doing that exercise for myself and hearing it from the podcast just completely just changed me. I had this big break after doing that exercise last year, and to this day it is what continues to keep me grounded, even when I do feel sad or depressed. Just making sure to not identify with the feelings, and instead identify with who I am and who God created me to be. Another thing that I find relevant is to prioritize and romanticize my life, even in the smallest details. For example, I love lighting candles. As you can see, there's one lit right here. I have so many candles spread throughout my room right now because I just love lighting candles. It just gives me this warm feeling. I just like whenever I go shower, I will light a candle. If I am watching a movie, I'll light a candle. Before I go to bed, I'll light the candles. It's just something that I really love to do, and it's just the smallest little thing ever, but it just has this really big and lasting impact on me. Like, I just feel really, really good. Even after blowing out the candle and just having the smell of it fill the room that I'm in, it makes me feel really good. So that is just something very, very small that I really love to do. It's also part of my self-care habit, and I just really love lighting candles, and I definitely will continue to do that until they are finished, so that I can buy new ones to continue doing it. Lighting candles. Ooh, and also watching movies, specifically holiday movies like Hallmarks. I love them. They just also make me feel really warm inside, and I just be feeling so happy for the people in the movies. Whenever the movie ends off on a good note, it just makes me feel happy for the people, because I am very empathetic. That is definitely something I've learned about myself the past 4 years, especially being in college. I definitely learned that I am over empathetic. So watching those holiday movies, it leaves a lasting impact on me, like a happiness list. It's a happiness booster for me, especially the Hallmark. So yeah, those are just two of the small little things I like to do, to kind of just like romanticize my life a little bit, and also play into just like my self-care habits. So yeah. And then one of the final things that I do a lot, but not as much as I would like, I definitely want to make sure that I'm actively continuing to do these two things, because they have also tremendously helped me along in my mental and emotional health journey, are journaling and talking to God in any capacity, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through reading my Bible, writing in my gratitude journal, doing my devotionals, doing those things, and just staying on top of my spiritual health. I find it to be such a grounding thing for me, and being grounded in itself helps me to be emotionally and mentally well. But overall, I feel like there's a couple misconceptions that only those who are alone during the holidays feel holiday sadness, where that is completely not true. During the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm always surrounded by family or friends. And a lot of times, I know it's true for me, I have felt the most lonely while being surrounded by other people. So I just want to make sure to let anyone else out there who does experience holiday sadness to know that it is normal. Regardless if you're alone or surrounded by family, we're all human, and we all feel things. And sometimes those feelings can become overwhelming and just very strong. So just making sure to just take care of ourselves in the best way that we can, and as well as let others know how you're feeling so that they can support you as well. It's never easy to go through things like this alone. It's definitely helpful to have a village around you and just people who you trust and love around you who can support you during these times. Um, yeah, holiday sadness is a real thing, and if you are someone who's also dealing with it, know that you are not alone, and there are many others who go through similar things. But that is all that I have for you. Remember to try your hardest not to identify with what you're feeling, but identify with who God created you to be. Identify with that. Don't identify with these negative emotions that are pervading your thoughts in your mind, because oftentimes they aren't even true. They're false. That's just the enemy trying to attack you in ways that he knows he can put you down. But God already won the battle for us. We just have to keep going and remind ourselves that God will never put you through things that he doesn't know that you can succeed in. So just remember that, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.